Stop right now. Take a deep breath. Feel it. That's not just air moving through you. It's a pulse, a power, a truth they've buried for decades. Everything you think you know is a lie, and the elite have stolen your mind to keep it that way. I didn't believe it either, not until it hit me hard and fast. One night alone, staring into the dark, I felt it, a vibration, deep, alive, shaking me to my core. I froze. What was that? Then I saw them, quantum fractals, tiny loops of light crawling across my skin, my room, my thoughts, like they'd been waiting for me to wake up. You felt it too, haven't you? That itch, that gnawing sense that your life isn't yours, that something's off, something's hidden. I'm telling you now, it is. That pulse, it's the bleeding code, a secret energy the elite have known about since the 60s, locked away in classified files to keep you small, to keep you blind. Science says fractals are everywhere, your DNA, your lungs, the stars. But they don't tell you the real story. Quantum fractals are alive, pulsing, breaking through the stolen reality they've built to cage you. I was just like you, scrolling, working, surviving, until that night. My hand tingled, then burned like fire under my skin. I looked closer, fractals, glowing, moving, alive. I blinked, thought I'd lost it, but they kept coming, spreading across my arm, my walls, my mind. Then I found it, a declassified memo buried online saying fractals could shift reality. The scientist who wrote it, fired, gone, erased. That's when I knew. The elite don't want you to know this. They've hidden it, buried it, to control you, to control me. But that pulse, it's our way out. It's the truth bleeding through their lies. Look around you. Do you feel that pulse right now? That hum, that shiver? It's not random. It's yours and they can't take it. Say they can't hide it in the comments if you feel it too. This isn't just a story. It's a fight, a war they've already lost. And it starts with you, right here, right now. Stay with me. This is where we rip their world apart. That night grabbed me. It wouldn't let go. I sat there, heart slamming, thump, 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 watching those quantum fractals crawl up my arm like veins of fire, like they were alive and angry. I grabbed my phone, hands trembling, typed fractals, quantum, and found nothing but crumbs. Science says fractals are everywhere. Your blood vessels, tree branches, the quantum field. But it's all dry, sanitized nonsense. Then I dug deeper, past the textbooks, past the lies, and the truth punched me in the face. These fractals are alive, and the elite have known it all along. Think about this. Your energy, tiny particles, buzzing, spinning, connected. Quantum physics proved it. Entanglement links them across space. Two specks, miles apart. One shifts, the other jumps instantly. Einstein called it spooky action, hated it, but in 1982, Alain Aspect proved it's real. Now stretch that. Those particles aren't alone. They're fractals, looping, repeating, tying you to everything, to everyone. I felt it that night. My pulse wasn't just mine. It was the universe's, and they've been hiding it from us. Have you ever felt that buzz? That tug when you're alone? That spark when you dream big? That's the bleeding code, leaking out of quantum fractals, screaming to break free. The Heart Math Institute says your heart pumps a field, meters wide, carrying your emotions, your thoughts. I tested it, sat still, felt my chest hum, and it was real. Not some fantasy. That field's fractal too, alive, bleeding signals into the stolen reality they've trapped you in. But here's the kicker. The elite silenced this. I found a leaked file, CIA, 1970s, Project Stargate. They tested fractals to shift reality, to control minds. They shut it down, classified it, because it wasn't just their weapon, it was ours, and they couldn't let us have it. Let's get real. You've been caged, haven't you? Bills piling, plans crashing, same fights on repeat. I was there, 9 to 5, chasing shadows, drowning in their game, until that pulse woke me up. I saw my life, clear as day, and it wasn't mine. Dr. Bruce Lipton says your subconscious runs 95% of you. Beliefs like you're not enough, burned in before you could fight back. But here's the twist. That's not your code, it's theirs. The elite hard-coded this stolen reality into you, into me, to keep our fractals dim, to keep us quiet. I tested it, thought I'm broke, and my week tanked like clockwork. Then I flipped it. I've got this, and a check landed in my mailbox unasked for. Coincidence? No, it's Quantum Fractals, bleeding through, rewriting their lie. Say they lied if you felt that shift too. Comment, I hear the pulse. Tell me where they've trapped you, where you're breaking out. This isn't just science, it's the truth they silenced, and it's ours to take back. Right now. Here's where it exploded. I couldn't hold it back. The bleeding code took over everything. I was just sitting there. Another night, another headache, when it slammed into me like a fist. Those quantum fractals didn't just pulse. They roared loud and fierce like a beast breaking its chains. My room shattered, walls melting into light, floor cracking like glass, my hands glowing, shifting, all of it fractals, swirling, screaming, crashing like a storm I couldn't escape. My chest burned, thump, 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 like my heart was clawing out, like it knew the secret they'd buried. I tried to breathe, to think, but it was too big, too real. The stolen reality they'd locked me in, the one they've locked you in. It broke apart right there, and I saw what they've been hiding all along. Let's slow this down. You need to feel it with me. Picture your day, your grind, your stress, the dreams you've let die. You've been stuck, haven't you? I was too, clocking in, clocking out, watching my life shrink no matter how hard I fought. But that night, it wasn't just a feeling. It was a surge, a flood, a rebellion I couldn't ignore. The bleeding code rushed through me, hot, wild, unstoppable, showing me the truth they feared for decades. Science says reality's just data, quantum bits, vibrating, waiting. The double-slit experiment proved it. Your mind bends matter just by looking. But here's what they won't admit. Those bits are fractals, alive, bleeding, connecting you to everything they don't want you to have. Have you felt that storm inside you? That day you're furious and everything breaks, or you're calm and someone calls with hope. That's not luck. It's your fractals tearing at the quantum field, fighting their control. I felt it, focused on breaking free, and my phone buzzed. A friend I hadn't seen in years out of nowhere. Hey, I've got a gig for you. Random? No. The bleeding code was moving, and they couldn't stop it. I stepped outside, shaking, reeling, and saw it. Fractals in the clouds twisting like smoke, in the cracks of the street, in my breath fogging the air. Every step vibrated, every choice bled out, and they hated it. Here's where it gets real. I was pacing, mind racing, when my boss texted. Sorry about last week. Let's talk. I'd been torn apart days before, over nothing, and now he was groveling. I stared at that screen, felt that pulse, and knew my fractals broke his script. Then my email glitched. Someone tried to hack in. A coincidence? No. They're watching, and they don't like me knowing this. Stand up. Feel that pulse right now. Say they can't stop me, if you hear it too. This isn't a trickle, it's a tidal wave, and it's crashing through their lives as we speak. I dug deeper. Had to. Quantum physicist David Bohm said it's a holographic universe. Everything's a fractal projection. Infinite, layered. I found a leaked report. Fractals shift reality. And the guy who wrote it? Vanished, career torched. The elite buried it to keep us small, to keep you small. But the bleeding code broke through. I thought, I'm done with debt. And a refund hit my account, no explanation. I thought, I'm bigger than this. And a stranger stopped me, handed me a lead. They can't stop this. I got a weird call that night. Stop digging? But the fractals kept roaring. Look at your hands. What do you see? Those lines, those veins. They're fractals, pulsing with power they've tried to bury. I saw mine, felt them burn, and pushed harder. Pictured my bank, empty, then flipped it. Money flows to me. 2 days later, a client paid double, unprompted. Pictured my stress, sleepless nights, and thought, I'm free. I slept deep, woke sharp. Say they failed if you felt that too. Comment, I feel the surge. Tell me what's cracking, what they've lost control of. This isn't a fairy tale. It's war, and we're winning, right now. I thought about a trip. Next day, a flight deal popped up. Thought about a fight, pictured it gone, and they called, I'm sorry. Every time I leaned into that pulse, the fractals answered, louder, stronger, faster. You're not stuck. They can't hold you anymore. The stolen reality they built, it's crumbling, and the bleeding code is the weapon they fear. Feel that heat, that's it. This surge is yours, right here, right now. I didn't drown in that surge, I rose from it. The bleeding code didn't break me. It built me into something they fear. Those quantum fractals didn't just rip apart their lie. They wove something new, something mine, something they can't touch. I stood there, shaking, sweating, alive like never before, watching my stolen reality collapse into dust, watching their control slip away. I wasn't their pawn anymore. I was the pulse, the power, the one they couldn't silence. Let's walk this together. You need to feel it because it's in you too. That night, I sat, still buzzing, staring at the wreckage they'd made of my life. Debt strangling me, a job I despised, dreams I'd buried under their rules. Then it hit me. I could break their chains. The fractals showed me. I wasn't trapped. I'd just been blind, locked in a stolen reality they designed. Here's how you do it, because you can right now, this second. First, see the fractals. Your thoughts aren't small. They're quantum fractals, bleeding out, shaping everything they don't want you to control. I caught mine, I'll never win, looping like they're programming, and flipped it to, I'm unstoppable. Next day, a deal I'd lost came back. Better, no begging. I saw I'm broke, switched it to, I've got enough, and a gig landed in my lap. Your mind's their battleground. What's it saying? Catch it, change it, break it. Second, feel the code. I sat, eyes closed, 5 minutes, 10, 20, picturing those fractals glowing, bleeding light through me. My heart hummed, stronger, louder, and I felt gratitude, like I'd already won, like their game was over. Dr. Joe Dispenza says theta waves in meditation rewrite your subconscious. They hate that because it's true. I lived it, saw my fractal shift, and a friend texted, "Need help? I'm in." Another time I thought, "I'm calm," and a fight I dreaded dissolved. Say I'm ready if you'll fight back too. Third, live the pulse. I stopped playing their game, acted like my fractals had already torn it down, walked taller, chose bolder, a debt I owed, $500 canceled, no reason. Last week a bill loomed, I smiled, trusted the pulse, and a refund hit, exact amount. Why? Because my energy defied their bleeding code and the quantum field answered. Have you felt that? That moment you decide and their rules bend? That's your fractals smashing the stolen reality they fear. I pushed harder, couldn't stop, thought I'm free of stress, slept deep, woke sharp, pictured a trip. Next day a flight deal appeared, thought about a fight, pictured it gone, and they called, I'm sorry. Every time I leaned in, the fractals roared back, clearer, brighter, stronger. Raise your hands, feel that heat now. Say I'm alive if you hear it too. Comment I own it. Tell me what you're breaking, what they can't hold anymore. This isn't a dream, it's your power, and they're terrified of it. Quantum fractals don't wait. They bleed through you, ready to build what you demand. Yesterday I felt that pulse, thought, I'm bigger, and a client doubled their offer. You're bigger too. Feel it. This is your rebirth. The stolen reality's dead, and the bleeding code's yours to wield, right now. You're still here. Perfect. That means you feel it. Quantum fractals pulsing through you. The bleeding code tearing through every lie they've ever told. Your stolen reality, it's finished. Right now, this second, this breath. I felt it that night, stood in the ruins of their cage, heart pounding, eyes burning, knowing I'd never bow to the elite again. You don't have to either, not for one more day, one more minute, one more lie. Let's end this, you and me together. That pulse you feel, that hum in your chest, that fire in your spine, it's not random, it's yours and it's what they feared all along. I saw it, fractals glowing in my hands, my eyes, my future, and swore I'd never let the stolen reality choke me again. You've been there, trapped in their loops, haven't you? Money vanishing, plans dying, fights they rigged you to lose. I was too, until that pulse woke me, until the bleeding code showed me they're scared. Now you know it. Quantum fractals are alive, bleeding, ready to break their world apart. Take it, now. Don't wait, don't even blink. Join the Quantum Fractal Challenge. 21 days to rewire your mind. Fire up that pulse and shred the lie the elite buried. I did it. Watched debts fade. Watched doors open they couldn't shut. The first ones in are winning. Check the pinned comment. See the fire spreading. Say they lose in the comments. If you're done with their game, done being small, subscribe, hit that bell. We're ripping the stolen reality down, step by step, pulse by pulse. This isn't talk, it's your power, coded in quantum fractals, bleeding through every second you breathe, every move you make. Comment, I'm free. Tell me what's breaking, what job you're burning, what fear they've lost, what wall you're smashing. Don't let them keep it. The code's yours. Grab it, live it, now. Here's the last piece, because it's real, because they're shaking. Yesterday I felt that pulse, stronger like a war drum. I thought, I'm bigger, and an hour later a stranger stopped me, handed me a card, said, you're the one. A lead I didn't chase. Then my phone glitched, a voice whispered, stop. They're scared. The bleeding code's out and they can't bury it again. You're the one too. Say it loud. Feel that pulse. Trust it. Take it now. Share this if you're done with their lies. Let's break them together. right here, right now.